Good evening, everybody. This is Mason Sims, and welcome to another edition of our show. As you can see, I still have my Christmas decorations up. I'm a firm believer in the 12 days of Christmas, and the wise men have not shown up just yet. So these decorations are going to continue to stay up for a few more days. Joining us this evening, we have former New Jersey State Senator and truck driver Edward Durr. He's one of the candidates for governor on the Republican ticket for the upcoming primary in June in New Jersey. He's going to share with us more about his campaign strategy. And he was actually a guest. He's one of my first guests, actually, when I launched this podcast. So if those of you that watched that last episode, we're just going to be going more in depth now that the presidential election's behind us, and there's going to be more attention focused on this governational election. Also, I wanted to express my condolences to all those involved in Las Vegas and New Orleans. And also, I wanted to wish Georgia and Notre Dame a good game, and hopefully all goes well, and there's going to be no more incidents like what we had witnessed just a few days ago. Again, my name is Mason Sims. Let's get started. With us today, we have former New Jersey Senator and also current governor candidate on the Republican ticket for New Jersey, Edward Durr. And Ed, thank you for joining us again today.
Thank you for having me, Mason, and Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, and to everybody watching, Happy New Year.
Absolutely, and some of my viewers or constituents may have not caught the last episode where I had you on, so just feel free to tell us about yourself and what got you into politics.
Well, my name is Edward Durr. I'm a former state senator, but some of you might have paid attention to things that took place in 2021. And in New Jersey, I was somewhat of the talk of the town. I made headline news as I defeated the longest-serving Senate president in our state. He was a 20-year incumbent. I beat him with just around $10,000, and he outspent me by 250 to 1, something like $2.5 million. And it kind of made a little bit of headlines. I was on Tucker Carlson a couple times, on Fox and on Newsmax. Even had President Trump give me a call, and then when I met him in Bedminster, he invited me on the stage. But the reason you'll see Ed the Trucker is I was given the handle of the truck driver because that is what I do for a living. I drive a tractor trailer. I've been doing that for 30 years.
Well, that's good, yeah, and it's a lot of people too say that politicians don't care about the working class, but they definitely cannot say that about you because you are in the working class.
I am as blue collar as it gets.
Yes, so and that was an amazing thing that happened. I know that was the talk of. I'm ever in South Carolina. That was a big talk around here. That said, "Did you hear the guy that upset its incumbent that outspit him probably quadrupled what Edward Durr spent on his campaign?"
Yeah,
and it was like I said, it was really inspirational for people to step up to the plate and get involved. Yeah, the next question I have for you is, now that the presidential election's behind us, what is your strategy for the upcoming 2025 June primary? Or when is your primary in New Jersey again?
The primary is in June of 25 this year, and currently there's technically about 8 candidates on the Republican side that are running, but 4 main people, myself and 3 other guys who are considered, main actual legitimate candidates. And my strategy has always been the same. Reach out to the people, talk to them, and let them get to know me and hear what they have to say and what their needs and what the most important issues are. And for the most part, throughout the state, up and down it's pretty consistent that affordability is our number one issue, because if you cannot afford to live, pretty much all the other issues kind of fall by the wayside. I mean, there's always going to be little groups who have special interests issues. I mean, I've had some people reach out and say, well, my number one issue is gun rights. My number one issue is parental rights. Number one issue is my COLA, which is cost of living adjustment for the pension people. So there's always going to be different ones who have their own personal issue, but for the most part, it is going to be affordability. And my strategy is going to be the same, to reach out and just hear what they have to say and give them my plan. My plan is to cut the budget, bring down the taxes in this state, bring back businesses, and make New Jersey affordable again.
Yeah, interest rates are they pretty high right now in New Jersey as well.
Well, it's not just the interest rates. We are one of the highest tax states in the country. We have the highest tax, business corporate tax throughout our region. There is no other state around us, whether it be New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, or Delaware, or Connecticut, that has a higher tax on their corporate and small businesses. So we tend to lose a lot of businesses. And it's just basic economics. If there are no businesses here, there's no jobs here. If there's no jobs here, there's no people making money, no income. If there's no income, there's no revenue, no tax money. It's just simple economics, but it seems like the Democrats in charge don't seem to follow it.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like that's why they lost so badly in the presidential election. Because honestly, at least for me, I'm tired of hearing it. It seems like they know what's best and that they want to help the middle class, but they feel like they've been all taught, but no results. I'm not
No,
saying that.
it's the same with the Democrats.
Right. Yeah, and I was just gonna say too that and it's probably not all of them in the Democratic Party, just some of them. I'm saying Trump rents his there's a opponent Kamala Harris. She says she's gonna help the middle class and stuff. I'm thinking, you've been in there 4 years. I mean, what have you been doing all this time? Yeah, well, that's good. And so I so how would you compare yourself to say like your other opponents? Like, how do you match up against them?
Well, again, I've reiterated this to the people. I hope it's coming across. For the most part, Jersey is a kind of blue collar kind of state. We believe in the hardworking individuals. And the main difference between myself and my three main opponents and even the Democrats is I have no ties to the establishment. Technically, the establishment kind of wanted to get rid of me. They're kind of the reason that I'm a former state senator, not still current, because they went after me when I was in office. They would never support me. And I'm here to serve the people, not a special interest establishment group. So that's where I stand out different than my three opponents. Besides a couple main issues, I'm a pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, pro-America First, pro-New Jersey First, which my individuals who I'm running against, even though they're Republicans, don't fall in line with those core beliefs.
Right, and I am going to one of the balls over in D.C., and the person that invited me is one of the event planners for Donald Trump and his campaign. I'm going to mention your name as well because I feel like that would go a long way if you got a Donald Trump endorsement.
It wouldn't hurt. I definitely welcome a Donald Trump endorsement.
Yes,
I'll take it. I'll take this phone call again.
I mean, yeah, you're America first, solid conservative, and honestly, that's what people want. Most people are tired. They still don't seem to get it. There's people in the establishment that still don't understand why people want Trump and not them. I mean, it's pretty simple though. I mean, they've been, giving empty promises and kind of been the same thing over and over again, and people are wanting change. And that, yeah, hopefully, when they go out to vote in the June and also November primaries, they'll be voting all those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So actually, I did see one thing too. That is there a current like controversy in New Jersey as far as like what the teachers are teaching in public schools?
Yeah, we've had that ongoing for probably 4 or 5 years now. The curriculum has been I guess, infiltrated with this wokeism where we've had different policies, one being 57, 56, and then just most recently, the governor had signed this bill called the Freedom to Read Act, which, in a sense, allows and gives, you know, a blanket, you know, freebie for librarians to provide the pornography books, these so-called LGBTQ books that have a lot of sexually explicit material in it that teach very graphic things. They are allowed to be in our schools, and parents are in an uproar about it. And they call it a book that Republicans are trying to have a book ban. It's not about having a book ban. It's about having a book restriction. No different than whether when you were a minor, you couldn't go into the liquor store and buy alcohol, or you couldn't go and get cigarettes, or you couldn't get Playboy or Penthouse in a bookstore because you were a minor. They didn't sell those things to you. Well, I think that should be the same thing in the school library. We shouldn't be allowing minors access to material that is pornography. And quite honestly, that parents don't want. And I think the parents have a right to state what they don't want their kids having access to. So this bill really missed the mark on it, and it's been a big issue here in New Jersey.
And here in where I live in Pickens County in South Carolina, the county, we call it county council. No, it's county commission where you are in New Jersey, but the county council is the one that appoints the library board members. Is that the same situation in New Jersey? Does the county commissioners have?
Well, no, with New Jersey, for the governor appoints the individuals on the statewide school board. And when you're talking local districts, then it's a local election. People run in their district. In New Jersey, we have 560 school districts. I personally think a lot too many districts. I think they should have been, changed a little bit. But for each school district, there's a school board. And the school board has elections every year, and they have different, people run for it. And they're the ones who decide on who is, the policies that are in place in the school. I mean, you have your main policies that are set by the state education board and then implemented by the local school boards.
Right. Has there been any changes really over the past couple of years as far as getting conservative members on those boards?
Well, no, actually quite the opposite. With the state board, the governor has made his way by filtering out and getting rid of conservative-minded people off of this state board and putting in his own hand-picked people. And I understand that, for every governor that comes into the state, they're going to want to have their agenda followed. So they're definitely going to push for more of their people to hold positions. So I don't have so much an issue of what his plan was, other than the fact that I just don't agree with the governor. When it comes to local school boards, yes, conservatives have been making headway on local school boards, and we have been winning more and turning certain school boards over, becoming more, conservative based. So I still say this is going to be a long, drawn out fight, but I still think we're going to do well in it.
That's good. And also, as the Republican Party for New Jersey, have you already had your reorg, or is that going to be next year in 2020?
Well, there is. Are you talking for the state party? That takes place, I believe, this year after the June primary for the governor's race, because it's historically common that we have a reorg after the primary for governor.
Okay, what about as far as like local ones, like your county that you reside in, for instance? Will that be?
Yeah, like tomorrow, my good friend Nick is being re-swore in for his second term as county commissioner, so I will be going to his swearing in tomorrow.
That's good. As this is the Republican Party, the local one where you currently reside, have they given you opportunities to speak and talk about your platform, what you stand for?
I've been, like I said, I've been going around the state and I've been expressing my views. I've reached out to different groups and really well loved, as you can imagine, in the Tea Party movement up here in New Jersey. So I have a good following, strong base there. It's getting involved with more of the establishment type groups to kind of wake them up and pull them away from traditional establishment Republicans.
Right. That's what's happened in South Carolina too. Like the most populated counties like Pickens, Greenville, and Charleston County, I feel like those people are pretty well informed because they voted on this last convention we had a change for in the state chairman of the Republican Party. Been there a while. But the smaller counties like Colleton, Jasper, some of those ones are less populated. They still vote for the establishment candidates. It's probably simply they just hadn't been informed, and they've had those small counties. They've had the same chairman for like several decades. It's been a long time.
Well, it comes down to name recognition and really just familiarity. As a whole, we as a people, we just don't generally go to change. It's something not normal for the human nature to embrace change. And that's what we need to do is get more people to embrace change, because it goes back to the old saying, what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Well, it's time for change. It's time for change in the Republican Party. It's time for change in the state parties. It's time for change and bring back the common man, the local man and woman who understand, who's lived paycheck to paycheck, who knows what is really going on, who actually goes out and buys the gallon of milk and the carton of eggs, and knows these things. The guy who's a millionaire, they're not worrying about the price of food or the price of gas or their taxes. They're not. They can give you a rehearsed line that they care about you and everything, but they don't know.
Right. And they say the same thing about Donald Trump because he's a billionaire. He doesn't care. But honestly, caring or not,
I will say Donald Trump is an outlier because, listen, like I said, I got to talk to the man for 15 minutes on the phone, got to meet him in Bedminster, shake his hand, and have a conversation with him when I was up on the podium with him. And this man really struck me as somebody who understood and cared. And again, like I said, he talked to me on the phone for 15 minutes, and 9 months later, he remembered exactly who I was and what our conversation was. So the man is amazing to me. So I've always been a supporter for Donald Trump, and I always will be.
Right. And that's one thing, too. People say he doesn't care about the working class, but his actions say otherwise.
Exactly. And that's what I've always said. Never really focus on what a person's words are. Always focus on their actions. I mean, sure, words are important, but actions are more important. It comes down to the talk or walk the walk.
Right. And I'll admit, when he first ran in 2016, I was hesitant about the change, but, he proved himself, and he's got more stuff done than probably most presidents have in 2 terms.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, and another thing I was going to mention, too, the 2021 election, I understand that the incumbent, the New Jersey governor, who is Democrat, he barely squeaked by on that one. So for this upcoming election, do you anticipate that New Jersey's going to flip to red this election cycle?
Well, I think we have an opportunity. Yeah, in the last gubernatorial race, Governor Murphy just squeaked out the race but in reality, that wasn't even our closest race. We've had several closer, but 3 percentage points was a tight race. It was tighter than what they expected. They figured he was going to win by 5 or 10 points, and it came down really close. I do think that we can flip the state. I think that The momentum and the wind is at our backs, and all we have to do is just keep our people motivated to come out and vote, and then we'll win. That's the general consensus. If we come out and vote, we win. There is no reason for Democrats to come out and vote. They're not doing anything. They are destroying this state, this country. So what is the motivation for a Democrat to come out and support another Democrat? They're not motivated. I mean, you're going to get your basic, 4x4 Democrat who's going to come out and vote, or they're going to mail in their vote. But to get new voters, I don't see the motivation there. So we just have to drive up our numbers and we can win. And they're there. The votes are there. I looked at the numbers. The votes are there to grab.
Right. That's good. Yeah. And hopefully, too, with it being the governor election, that there will be a good turnout for the primaries. I know the average voter usually attends when the presidential election happens, but with this being governor, hopefully y'all have a good turnout.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important that it should all, me personally, I think it should be a great turnout every election. That's just my personal opinion. I think you have an opportunity to have your voice heard, and I've said it 1,000 times because people say, my vote don't matter. No, the vote that doesn't matter is the vote that doesn't get cast. As long as you cast your vote, it matters. Whether you think it does or doesn't, you don't know. But as long as you make that vote, you've at least done your duty.
Right. And as far as the elections being unfair, I feel like we have a long way to go. But there are states, too, that are trying to make adjustments to the voting integrity. So I'm hoping to see that momentum increase.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And another thing is, I saw that you had faced criticism from your other opponents as far as your view on abortion. So can you kind of elaborate maybe more on that, what your stance is on abortion, and why the other Republican candidates would disagree with you on it?
Well, I've never made any bones about it. I'm pro-life. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in the sanctity of life. I believe in the Bible that conception there is life. With that being said, I accept that New Jersey already has an abortion law that allows for abortion up to birth, much like Virginia, where while I was in the Senate, presented a bill to scale back that abortion to bring it at least to 12 weeks. And if I was to be elected governor and there was to be a bill, I would sign it if having the opportunity to scale back our abortion. I think 7, 8, 9 months having abortions is uncalled for. First off, you are still having the kid. You're just murdering a child. And so I can say this because I have nieces and nephews who were born at 5 months because they were quads. So I know that babies can survive. My kids were born all premature early, 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks early. So I don't see any reason why we have to be having abortions 7, 8, 9 months into the pregnancy. Abortion shouldn't be used as a means of birth control. There are methods to prevent a pregnancy. And again, I'm a strong advocate for pro-life. So I'm not going to, walk back and say, oh, well, if this is the way to be. No, this is my personal belief, and I will always stand true to my personal beliefs. Whether it gets me elected or not elected, I am a pro-life individual.
Yes, and we did have one incumbent, too, in the state legislature who lost his seat. One reason being that he wasn't in favor of the heartbeat bill. Yes, he was for that, and a lot of people got upset. So I feel like that was one reason why he did not get reelected this time go around. Especially if you're conservative, that's going to be tough as far as winning over those votes.
Well, I think that's one of the major issues that separates us from the Democrats is our belief in the sanctity of life, where they have no regards. They have no regards for life or for your safety or for an individual's personal freedom. But it's hilarious that they scream personal freedoms, my body, my choice, yet they're the same party who were telling you you had to get a COVID jab. that you had no choice in that matter.
Yes, it sounds. I mean, it definitely sounds hypocritical.
Say the least.
Yes, and I know Mark Robinson didn't win, but he did some strong views of abortion, but it's not your body anymore when the child's in the womb, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's good. So, would you say that as far as all the other Republican candidates, you're the sole MAGA candidate, or are the rest mostly the establishment?
I, outside of one, they all want to claim they're all MAGA, and they all want to claim that they are pro-Trump. I'm the only one who has been loyal to Trump since day one. But that's not the important factor here. We already have an America First candidate. His name is Donald Trump. He's the one who's going to take care of the country. He's your America's First candidate. I want to be New Jersey first candidate. I want to be the governor of New Jersey, and I want to worry about making New Jersey great again.
That's great. Yeah. And how does your other candidates or opponents like the Democratic opponents? I remember he said that the person he defeated in New Jersey for senator, he's running.
Yeah, he's running, and it's funny to hear him talk about making New Jersey more affordable, and we have to cut costs. And I just keep thinking to myself, you were the Senate president for 12 years who brought the budget to the floor every time and voted yes. And you're going to tell me about making New Jersey affordable, and you're the guy who's had a hand in increasing our taxes and our budget every time. No, it's hollow. It's statements that come out of this guy that he had his chance. He had 20 years in the Senate. He had 12 years as a Senate president to help make New Jersey great, and he ran the bill up. We are on the precipice of this state going into bankruptcy. The difference between myself and all of the candidates, Democrat or Republican, is they all see themselves as the savior of New Jersey, that they want to be the person that everybody looks to save them. Oh, look at me. I'm here to rescue you. I'm not here to rescue anybody. I'm here to work for the citizens of New Jersey and help them take care of business. Individuals can take care of themselves as long as government gets out of the way. And that's what my job will be as governor, to get government out of the way of the people and let the people succeed. I'm just the civil servant employee that I want to be, and just serve you for the next 4 or 8 years and do the job as best I can.
Right. And that's how you won your New Jersey senator seat, because you didn't promise you'd look after them. We're really just kind of look over. You said, I'm going to work hard and be your servant. That's pretty much the plan.
I never told anybody that I'm going to promise to make your world great. I said, I'm going to do my best to make government get out of your way.
Yes, and I believe wise men once said, it was Ronald Reagan, I believe he said, the most terrifying words you'll ever hear someone say.
Yes, it is. And trust me, I love Ronald Reagan because he was my first president I ever voted for.
Yes, definitely. It seems like most of the country was united, at least in both of those presidential elections. The majority of the country was red.
Yep.
But while we're on the air, do you have anything that you'd like to say to your constituents and the viewers, like we're going to have it on the next few months, what to be looking out for?
Well, I just want everybody to know that I am running for governor, and if anybody wants to reach out to me, they can always check me out on edthetrucker.com. That's my website. It's very easy. It's the name that you see there, and just put .com at the end, edthetrucker.com. I am offering a copy of my book for anybody who makes a donation of $47 in honor of President Trump, our 47th president. Whoever makes a donation of $47 or more can get an autographed copy sent to them. Make a great late Christmas gift to anybody. or a birthday present or a Valentine's gift. Maybe a loved one likes to read. It's all about the story of running for office and some of the goings on and the things I learned. But I just want the people to get engaged and work hard, and don't just believe everything you hear, and don't take everybody's word for what they say. See what their actions are, because my opponents, they like to say a lot of things, but their actions don't match what their statements are.
Right. And Ed, like I said before, I mean, you're one of the reasons I got involved and ran my first seat. I mean, believe in the American dream that anything is possible. I thought that you had to be involved like for many years and be a career politician in order to succeed. But as long as you have a good message and you tell your constituents that you're going to work hard for them, I really believe anyone can win an election if they have the right strategy.
Absolutely, yeah. If I can win, anybody can win. That's the takeaway you can take from it. I'm not a college grad. I'm not a doctor, not a lawyer, just a regular truck driver, grandfather of 5, father of 3. Just had enough of the BS that our government was giving us, and I got involved. And I think more people need to do so. Take our government back, because it's supposed to be government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We're not the servants to the government. They are our servants, and we have to remind them of that.
Right. I think that's good too for incumbents to be challenged, every now and then too, just to make sure that that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. The way to keep them better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Ed, again, it was a pleasure to have you on the show here again, and I'll make sure to share this interview on our group chat with the Republican Party of Pickens County, and I'll also mention your book as well.
I appreciate it. And I want to just wish everybody again a happy new year. And if anybody's planning on going to the inauguration, please be safe in light of our recent, news reports. This being taped right after the event that took place in New Orleans. So we have to be on alert for things that could be taking place and pushback. So again, if you just want to check me out, edthetrucker.com. Get yourself a copy of my book, and you get it for a donation of $47 or more.
That sounds great. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ed the Trucker. And just make sure edthetrucker.com and make sure to make a donation of at least $47 in order to get a book. Yeah, I'll make sure to go ahead and send my donation too once we're done with this interview.
All right.
Yeah, it was again, it was good having you on the show, Ed. And I wish you the best of luck to you on your effort, and I hope that you come out victorious in your June primary.
Thank you very much.
And that concludes our show for this evening. Thank you all for watching. And if you have not already, feel free to click, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for further updates. And also join our Facebook page as well. I hope that everyone had Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I wish everyone a good week back at school when school gets in, to all teachers and students that are going back. So good night to everybody, and God bless America. Thank you.